In today's episode, I'm going to teach you the basics of private lending and finding contractors, breaking down Kim's story from episode 1. But beyond that, I'm going to give you 9 specific things that you need to know about how to get your lender comfortable and confident in lending you money for your house hack. And I'm going to help you understand my foolproof contractor vetting steps so that you can figure out which ones are good and which ones are bad. Something you really need to know in order to get this to work. Stick around because this is all you need to know all in one episode. We start right now. Welcome to the Property Squad. This is a real estate podcast about investing, stories, and strategy. Each week, I interview somebody who has had investing success. In season 1, this is house hacking. So I'm interviewing house hackers who are doing cool things and their entire story. In that next episode, I'll break down their strategy and dive deeper into it using my knowledge and expertise. My name is Anson Young, and I've been an investor and agent for 17 years, and I'm doing fix and flips, wholesales, and BRRRR deals in 4 different markets. I'm also a Bigger Pockets author, a speaker, and I think I've had way too much coffee today. Check out our socials in the links below. Head to propertysquadhq.com, which will be ever evolving and adding as many free resources as I can pack in there. This is a guru free zone, so free is always good. Also down below is my favorite resource, all of the vendors and tools that I use on a daily basis inside my real estate company. And I'm adding about 4 or 5 more this week, so check it out. We operate in seasons here, and season 1 is all about house hacking. If you don't like this season, then stay tuned for the next season or go back to the previous season. I guess since this is the first season, there's no previous season. You know what I'm talking about. House hacking is where you buy a property to live in, 1 to 4 units, and you live in one part of the property and you rent out the rest. A room, the other side of the duplex. You get the idea. With renters who are paying for some or all of your mortgage. And I'll probably say it 100 times this season, but house hacking is easily one of the best ways to get started in real estate or real estate investing. This is a strategy episode, so let's break down a few things that made Kim's house hack so successful. And if you haven't listened to episode 1 yet, that's where we interview Kim Johnson and her Denver duplex that is bringing in over $5,200 per month. So she's living there for free and actually cash flowing. So she's getting paid to live in a property that she bought. It's appreciating, it's cash flowing. She's living there for free. What could you do if you could live somewhere for free for a year or 2 or 3? Could you save up for more property? Absolutely. Can you go have more freedom in your job? Absolutely. So first of all, we're going to talk about Kim's creative financing decisions. So her duplex property presented challenges for conventional financing, and this pushed her to explore alternative financing options. Since this was a wholesale deal, she could not get FHA or traditional financing. The condition of the property kept her from doing that, plus the timeline. So first of all, condition on these types of mortgages, these traditional mortgages, they want to see the property that's not falling down. FHA has a lot of restrictions on drywall, carpet condition, appliances. There's a lot of things that they consider that a wholesale deal may not fit. And then also the timeline. So a wholesale deal typically has to close within a week or 2 weeks, up to a month. And if you're struggling and you're trying to find traditional financing in that time, it's going to be difficult if you don't have all of your ducks in a row, which, as Kim said, she did not have her ducks in a row. And in this case, the seller only accepted cash or private or hard money loans. That's it. She couldn't get an FHA loan. She couldn't get a conventional loan. She couldn't go to the bank. She couldn't go to the mortgage broker or her credit union. She didn't have her lending in order. So lenders typically want good credit. They want to see your tax returns, your bank statements. Sometimes you're just not ready for all of that, or you need one more year of taxes in order to qualify. Your credit's not all the way up to snuff. Your bank statements aren't ready. There's a lot of different reasons why people aren't ready for lending. And in Kim's case, she just wasn't ready. So she needed to find another solution. So she went to a private lender. And in this case, it was her parents to kick this off. This wasn't a gift. This wasn't just a daddy's money kind of thing. She did refinance the property and paid them back. So what you need to consider when you're asking your uncle or friend or parents for money for your house hack, what do you have to consider? So one thing is, if you can present them a solid plan, you can get them to say yes easier. There's a big difference between, hey, can I get some cash? And I need $100,000 at 6% interest rate for a term of 1 year to put down on a property that has equity in it. I have a 6-month plan for refinancing you out. The note will be secured and registered with the county. Those are two very different things, right? Hey, can I borrow some money? To actually having a plan and knowing what you're talking about. That's what we're talking about right here. So get out your pen and paper. Let's go through this. The first thing is interest rate. You're going to have to understand the interest rate that is being offered and whether it's fixed or variable. You're going to have to plug this in to your formula for your house hack to figure out if this is a deal or not. Fixed rates offer stability, while variable rates can change over time. The second thing is the loan term. You have to determine the length of the loan term. So longer terms may result in lower monthly payments, but could result in higher overall interest rate payments. Plus, your uncle or whoever is going to want to know how long you need this money for. Typically, a private loan, they're not going to want to lend you a 30-year mortgage. That's just not what they're typically into. A year, 2 years, probably at the most. If they are your favorite uncle, they might give you a 5-year loan or something like that. But be prepared and know your numbers on when you can get them out and how long they can expect their money to be out there and into this property. Of course, they're going to want to know about the third thing, which is repayment terms. You're going to have to clarify the repayment structure, such as monthly payments, and if there are any penalties for early repayment. Some loans have balloon payments requiring a large lump sum at the end. But if this is a typical private money loan, it's going to be maybe a year, no prepayment penalties, and a certain interest rate to get their money back. A savvy lender is going to want to know the loan to value ratio. This is number 4. So evaluate the loan to value ratio, which compares the loan amount to the property's appraised value. So a lower LTV may result in better loan terms. So they're going to want to know, is there equity in this deal? Is my favorite nephew getting into a deal where he has 20% equity, 10% equity, 0 equity? They may not want to loan to you at 0 equity, because how are they going to get their money back? You can't refinance out with 0 equity. The fifth thing is a down payment. Some lenders will want to see some skin in the game. So consider the required down payment. A large down payment can often lead to more favorable loan terms. Like, hey, uncle, I'm going to come with $50,000. You come with $500,000. Like, that's a easier sell than I'm coming in with nothing. You bring everything. You have all the risk. I am just here for fun. Well, it wouldn't be like that, but you understand. The sixth thing is credit worthiness. So understand the lender's requirements regarding credit scores and financial history. Now, most family lenders and private lenders may not care about this, but if you're going to like a business partner of your friend and they're willing to lend on real estate, they may want to see that you have an actual decent credit score. So keep that in mind. The next is collateral. So you have to identify the collateral required for the loan. In real estate transactions, it's typically the property. There are recourses if you don't pay this back. The actual collateral is the property. They have the rights to foreclose. They're probably not going to want to take collateral of your car or your dog or something like that. They want something secured like the property. And they want to know the security. So how is Uncle Bob protected? And it's going to be a promissory note that's recorded. Of course, that's going to be the most protected way that your private lender is going to be taken care of. So that way, if you get hit by a bus, your uncle's protected. And finally, an exit strategy. If you have a clear exit strategy in mind, especially if the loan has a shorter term, you have a plan for refinancing, that's what this would look like. So if you are saying, look, I need this loan for a year, but I have a plan to refinance this out in 6 months, and this is how I'm planning to do that. The property has X amount of equity. I'm already talking to lenders about the refinance, getting my credit in order, getting my loans in order, whatever it is that you need to do to be bankable to get out of this family loan, which is exactly what Kim did. She had a family loan. She went ahead and refinanced it to get out of that family loan and into a 30-year loan. And it does also help if you know the market conditions. So kind of what's going on in the current economic and real estate market. The more you know about the market and your plan, the better you can sell your private lender on it. It's not just, well, I think this neighborhood's good. Can I have $500,000? That's going to be a lot harder to sell than knowing what the neighborhood's doing, why you're getting into that property, and the certain economic and real estate market conditions that are going into this decision. The next part is going to be the lessons learned from the renovation process. And her quote is, so no matter how highly they come referred, however many glowing remarks they're getting, still do your research and get multiple quotes. And another one off the top of my head was she had some really high highs and some really low lows when it came to the renovation process. So we're going to try to smooth this out for you, the listener, here in the squad, so that you can have a better time with contractors than Kim has had, or I have had. They're contractors, man. Let's get into vetting your contractors. So referrals are great. They're usually the first recommendation on how to find a great contractor or agent or lender. They're going to say, go get a referral. You want to talk to somebody who has used this contractor before and get that recommendation. But blindly trusting referrals and not doing your homework was a pain point for Kim and for you and me and every other real estate adventurer out there. Honestly, one of the biggest pain points that I ever hear from my fellow real estate friends is contractors. It's just a thing. So let me break down my foolproof contractor vetting method so that you can find the right person the first time. A little upfront work can save you so many headaches down the line. And I've found contractors locally. I've found contractors in the 3 other markets that we invest in real estate. I've met some of them. Some of them I've never met, but the more work you can do up front, the better. So the first thing is to get 3 or more referrals for every category that you need. So 3 general contractors, 3 HVAC technicians, 3 flooring. You can get these from your agent, your lender, your family, from real estate networking events. And I know I just slagged referrals, but honestly, it's better than just cold calling out of the yellow pages. And for you people who don't know what the yellow pages are, just straight off of Google. You don't want to just cold call these guys straight off of Google. You want at least a little bit of a warm introduction. Then you're going to go through the vetting process. The second one is to have each one give you a bid for what you need, a line item bid. So if you have 3 general contractors, you're bringing them in, you're getting a line item bid from each one of them, walking them through the property, getting all the information from them. They spell out each piece and cost. So this way you can also compare their approaches, their pricing, their communication styles. You are really getting to know their process up front. If a contractor isn't willing to give you a bid or is slow to communicate or just cannot get you what they say that they will on time, that's a pretty good indication that they're going to be that way through the whole process. So you might want to get rid of them now. The next one is to ask the contractor for a list of references from previous clients. You can contact these references to inquire about their experiences, the quality of work, the contractor's reliability, etc. Any good contractor that stands behind their work will have no problem giving you the name of 2 or 3 people who they have done work for before. Next one ties right in. Portfolio of past work. So review the contractor's portfolio gallery of past projects. This can give you an idea of their style, their craftsmanship, the types of projects that they specialize in. And of course, if you can go walk those projects, that's even better. Get your eyeballs directly on to their projects. Of course, you're going to want to double check their license and insurance to verify that the contractor is licensed to work in your area. Check for any disciplinary actions against the license. And additionally, you can ensure that the contractor has liability insurance, workers' comp coverage, all of that stuff. You don't want to be left holding the bag because you didn't take 20 minutes to check their license. Check their online reviews or Better Business Bureau rating. So this way you can check the online platforms such as Google, Yelp, Angie's List, Thumbtack for any feedback from previous clients. So pay attention to both positive and negative reviews to get a well-rounded perspective. And then check for permits. So ensure that the contractor is knowledgeable about local building codes and regulations. They should be willing to obtain the necessary permits for your renovation. Now, this may not bite you now. So there are a lot of people who don't get permits pulled for their rentals. But when you go to sell, that might be a problem for the person buying your property. They may want to see that you have permits in place or that the contractors pulled the permits and everything was done to code. Ask them about their timeline and schedule so you can discuss the expected timeline for the project and the contractor's ability to stick to the deadlines. So delays can be very costly, very inconvenient. Honestly, timeline is one of the biggest problems with contractors, unfortunately. And during this process, you are checking out their communication skills. So you're assessing the contractor's skills on how they get back to you, their preferred way to communicate. Are they clear? Are they responsive? Do they explain things well? Are they open to addressing your concerns or questions? Right now is the time to figure that out, not when you're 2 months or 3 months into a project, or even 2 days into a project. You don't want to find out that that contractor that you hired is not communicative. Next up, the payment schedule. Clearly understand the payment schedule. Be cautious of contractors who require a large upfront payment. A reasonable schedule tied to the project milestones is much preferred. Next up, check out the warranty and guarantees. So ask about the warranties and guarantees offered on the work performed. So a reputable contractor will absolutely stand behind their craftsmanship. They will make sure that the job is done, and they will guarantee their work or their labor for an X amount of time, however it's spelled out in the contract. So next up, you're going to want to know how many projects they're currently working on. This bites people all the time. Contractors will always take on more projects than they can handle or that they think that they can handle. And it always just comes back on the homeowner or the investor. And so if they're working on 3 projects, I mean, I would ask them like, hey, can you take on a 4th? Have you taken on 4 projects before? Let's get this out of the way up front, please. And contract review. So you're going to want to carefully review the contract terms, the scope of work, materials that are going to be used, payment terms, and any other relevant details. So, of course, I'm not a lawyer. If you want one, go get one. Seek legal advice if necessary. And then you're going to want to just double check just red flags. Like we all have an intuition inside of us on how this goes. Be cautious of red flags such as extremely low estimates, pressure tactics, lack of transparency. Trust your instincts. Proceed with caution. If something seems off, it's okay to walk away. There are 100 general contractors in your area that would probably take on this job. It's a matter of finding the right one. Contractors can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Putting in time up front helps to weed out the bad ones. If you want more actionable info like this, be sure to follow us on Spotify or YouTube. Check out Kim's episode where she makes over $5,200 a month with her house hack. And I think it's actually closer to $5,700. That's my math in my head that I was doing. And $5,200, $5,700, either way, she's making a lot of cash flow off of that. Make sure you check out propertysquadhq.com. Also, look at the list of tools that I use inside my real estate business in the show notes or down below. And until next time, happy investing. We love you. We'll talk to you later. See ya.